Hello everybody, welcome to the Knit and the Grit podcast after a much long unintended hiatus. My name is Jackson. I am your host here on YouTube. This is kind of my podcast, video podcast, whatever you want to call it, where I talk about knitting and crafting. For those of you who are new, seeing as I haven't podcasted in like a year, I knit, I needlepoint, I cross stitch, and I also quilt. So, you know, knitting is my primary thing, as you can see by this giant pile of stuff. This is pretty sure these are all finished objects that I've finished in the past year-ish. I tried to make sure I grabbed everything, but I'm not 100% sure if this is everything since my last podcast that has been finished. So this might be a kind of long episode, but I am going to try and talk through this really fast because I do have a number of whips. This episode, though, is going to be focusing on my knitting. I might come back and do more of a floss tube episode to talk about my cross stitch and my needlepoint. And then I have been doing some sewing, but all of that is upstairs. The only sewing I've been doing is in relation to Brandon and I's guest book quilt that I am doing for wedding round 2. Brandon and I got married at the very end of last year in 2020, but ended up doing it over Zoom. So this year, fingers crossed, we actually get to do the whole ceremony with all of our friends and family present. So, anywho, let's dive right in. Grab a beverage. I'm drinking apple juice. And let's get started on this giant pile of finished objects. So, I'm going to start from the top and kind of just work our way down. Kind of goes from my smaller finished objects to my larger. So, first up, this is the Oslo hat by PetiteKnit. Super cute little beanie, kind of tight fitting hat. This is the Mohair edition, so I did knit this holding a strand of mohair and fingering weight yarn held together. The yarn I used is Hey Sister Yarn Co. in their Geronimo base and their fluff mohair base in the colorway Drizzle for both. You cannot get this yarn anymore. They are not dyeing anymore. I've had this in stash. I bought enough yarn in Drizzle to last me a little bit when they did their last update. So that's what this is from. I love this hat. I wore it a bunch this past winter. It will get worn even more this coming winter. It's a great neutral staple and just a really great simple hat. Next up is a hat very similar to that, but a bit different. This is the Iris hat. This is a pattern by Sari Nordlund, and this is a super cool construction. I have never done a top-down hat before. So you cast on a handful of stitches here right in the center, and then you increase, and this has a really cool kind of like swirly increase, and you knit in 1x1 rib. So this was took me a while just because of the 1x1 rib, but super soft, really comfy, and just like really great. The intent of this pattern, for at least for me to wear, is to have it rolled up twice for the brim. I'm not bothering with tacking this down in case I ever want to wear it more slouchy, but I don't get a lot of wear out of hats that have a lot of slouch to them. I have a big head already and a lot of hair, and honestly I don't like the look of additional bulk around my head. But I knit this out of Woolberry Fiber Co. In her collective colorway Levi's. For both, it's her berry tweed fingering weight, and then her Sari alpaca base. I'm drawing a blank on what she calls it. It's Sari something, but it's Sari alpaca lace weight. And this hat's super cute. I Did not finish it in time to really wear it this year, but still, I love it. Because I think this collective colorway was like January, and as soon as it came in, I casted this on in hopes I'd have it done, and I didn't finish it until like well into spring, and I live in Tennessee, so it warms up here pretty fast. But that one is finished. Next up, it's probably, this was my longest standing whip for a while. I'm pretty sure I casted these on as a Christmas Eve cast on in 2018, because I remember casting these on not long, like the year Brandon and I started dating. So they were in hibernation for a really long time, and then as soon as I picked them back up and started the color work again, it flew. And so these are the Evja mitts by Skeindeer, and this is from her, I think, second Selbu Mitten Club. She's got a ton of great patterns, and I followed this, I followed her directions. The only thing I changed, and it wasn't even intentional because I was going to do everything according to the pattern, is I wasn't paying attention when I was doing the pattern for the palm. It's not supposed to be alternating one by one colors. It's supposed to be like these little crosses, and I was not paying attention. So that's my fault. But other than that, everything else is according to the pattern and chart. They're both done. They are a little snug, just getting over right here. Probably because I was a little tight in my tension. But they're gorgeous, and I was trying to finish these for Valentine's Day, and I did, and it ended up being too hot on Valentine's Day to even bother wearing mittens. But oh well. I knit this out of Brooklyn Tweed Shelter, which also is a little bit heavier weight than I think the Evja mitts call for. Sorry, my allergies. The Evja mitts, I believe, are for DK weight yarn, and Brooklyn Tweed Shelter is kind of like in the middle of like being, it's like both can be done as DK, but it can also be worsted. But either way, I just really wanted these colors. So the red color is Long Johns, and then this is like a very cool gray color. It's just looking very warm in the lighting in my office right now, which I guess that's a better, more accurate color. But that's Snowbound, which is probably like my favorite light gray color out of like anything ever. But I really like Brooklyn Tweed Shelter. I also like their loft. I have a couple of other projects out of Brooklyn Tweed. Sorry. I have a little chair next to me that I keep elbowing the arm of because that's where I'm holding all of my stuff when I'm done. There's also two golden puppies in the room with me, both aggressively chewing on bones. So if you hear that in the background, it's just doggy ASMR. There's nothing I can do about it other than kick them out of this room, in which case they're gonna whine at the door. So might as well have them sitting quietly in here versus crying that I have kicked them out. But next up is some socks. I have a nice little fun pile of socks. These ones are relatively recently finished. The pattern is Wildflowers and Honeycombs by this Handmade Life, if I remember correctly. And then the yarn is Woolberry Fiber Co.'s Hobbit collection, or Hobbit Club, from this year. This is the Lonely Mountain. This is the first one that came out, and again, immediately had to cast it on. But it's got beautiful variegation, and then this pattern has these really cute little eyelet type flowers, and then it's not a garter heel, which I don't know what happened with the lighting just now. This is not a garter heel, it's like a reverse slip stitch heel. So you're just carrying the yarn in the front, like when you're working on the back side of the heel flap. I don't know, it was really cool and I really liked it. So these are done. I love these. These are my more springtime socks because I like having thematic socks. I figured that out about myself. I like having fall socks and winter socks and Christmas socks and spring socks / summer socks. Probably I don't have as many of the spring summer because I don't really wear socks then, but still want spring summer socks because I like things to be thematic. Next up, these are the Paddington Station socks. This is a pattern by Ambrose Smith, and just a really cute textured rib type sock. I did do a tubular cast on for these babies. I am probably never going to do that again for a sock, mainly because I do prefer a German twisted cast on. But super cute, really gorgeous, kind of simple ribbed with pearl bumps type sock pattern. These are really comfy. This is in Sweet Sparrow Yarns Magpie base, which is her sparkle base, and the colorway is Peppermint Mocha. So I have Christmas socks done, and those are lovely. I love them. And then I've got these babies. This is, oh gosh, I had started these with the intent of them having like this beautiful textured pattern, but then you couldn't really see the textured pattern, which is supposedly up here. So it's there, they're pearl bumps. It's just a little bit too intense of a variegation to really show it off. So I did 2 repeats, realized that it wasn't going to show up, and then just switched to kind of more of a vanilla type wide ribbed sock, if you can't tell. The original pattern was by Tabitha Gandy. I am drawing a blank on the pattern. I think it's Snowfall or something like that. But this is the Mr. Grinch sock set from Bad Wolf Girl Yarns? Bad Wolf Girl Knits? Something like that. Her name is Megan. I follow her on Instagram and I'm drawing a blank. But again, all this information, I'll have it down below so you can double check these things. I just decided to film a podcast and didn't feel like writing anything down. So, because I was like, let's just film. Let's go put some makeup on. I washed my hair today. So we're having fairly nice curls going on right now. But either way, so I didn't feel like taking show notes. But that's kind of, you know, just how we're doing it today. We're winging it. Next up are some vanilla socks, which the rest of my socks are roughly like variations on vanilla socks for me. These are Shorty Stockinette vanilla socks. This is Nomadic Yarns in the Practical Magic colorway. I wear these a ton with a mini that does not have a name from Autumn and Indigo from a long time ago. No, Luna, don't get up there. Sorry. She wants to get in her chair next to me, and that's where my projects are. So I just did a shorty variation on my normal stockinette vanilla socks. And then since they're stripy, I did do an afterthought heel. I follow the Curvy Werbies afterthought heel tutorial that's on YouTube. She does a great tutorial and it's really easy to follow, and I really like it. But these are really cute. These are a pair of my fall Halloween socks. They were super fast to knit up, and this was, I believe, Nomadic Yarns BFL base, so her Brit sock, and super nice to knit with. I love BFL. And then I have another pair of self-striping socks. These are much longer, and obviously, and this is in the Equinox colorway from Nomadic Yarns with the same Autumn and Indigo mystery mini for heels. And this is on her Spark base, so it does have some stellina in it that doesn't show up very well on camera, but they do sparkle. And these are my birthday socks this past year, since my birthday is in September. So I was like, I want snazzy socks for my birthday. So that's what we have there, and I'm probably gonna wear them for my birthday again this year. And then, following right along in the fall theme, these are the pumpkin spice latte sock set from Woolberry Fiber Co. on her berry sock, and I love this sock set so much. I'm pretty sure it is her caramel colorway and then her sweater weather colorway. I'm not sure, but she's about to do her whole fall drop soon with her classic kind of fall colorways coming back in a pre-order. I just saw that today, so very exciting. I might need to get some more of this, but this is just in my kind of basic 3x1 rib with a 2x2 twisted rib cuff. My vanilla sock is pretty much, I do 2x2 twisted rib for the cuff. I cast on 64 stitches. If I'm doing ribbed, I'll do 3x1 ribbing, and then I do a slip stitch heel flap and gusset. I like how those fit the most. Generally speaking, I do more of a squared off heel turn, and then I do about 65 stitches from where I pick up the heel flap to where I start toe decreases, and then decrease every other row until there's 10 stitches left on the needles, and then kitch turn the toe together. And that tends to work pretty well for me. I do use 2.25 millimeter needles for my socks. Thank you, Bogo, for knocking the camera. Yes, thank you. There you go. Get in your spot. What you guys don't see. Just the princess and her chair. She's like, I want to bark at the neighbors. Anyways, I use 2.25 millimeter needles, and this works pretty well for my gauge to achieve my 8 to 8.5 US women's shoe size. But love those. Those are really fun socks to have, and I sleep in those a ton. They're clean, but you can tell that they have been worn a fair bit and there is dog hair on them. But that's kind of just, it's just life with golden retrievers. Everything, you're just always coated in hair. Next up are Brandon's Well Summer Rooster socks. Had these on the needles for a while, but he is a size men's 14. So his feet are not small. Like, this is significantly bigger than my head. But this is the Well Summer Rooster sock set from Hue Loco. And for his socks, I do 72 stitches on 2.25 millimeter needles and knit for forever. I think I do about, from where I pick up stitches to where I start casting off is about 85 rows. I say casting off. Till I start doing toe decreases is about like 85 rows, I think, if I remember correctly. But this is, again, 3x1 rib for the body with 2x2 twisted rib up here with a heel flap and gusset. Just basic ribbed vanilla socks. It has not been, I finished these I think right around his birthday in May, and he has not worn them yet, but I've also been kind of hiding them because I have filmed this podcast who knows how many times and just never got to editing it like an idiot. But so hopefully he'll wear these soon and I'll get to know whether or not he likes how the rib socks fit him. I haven't made him good rib socks in the past, so I'm curious as to whether or not he feels like these will fit him better, because some of his other socks that I've made him have like kind of a rib to them, but they're not like traditional rib. and they always look kind of like saggy on him. Like they don't stay up very well. And I don't think he cares. He just wears them around the house and while he's like playing video games or watching YouTube or whatever, doing his own thing, just kind of chilling or down in his man cave. So, you know, once it starts getting chilly here, I'll find out more as to whether or not he likes them or not. And then, so moving away from our rather small finished objects, next up is a shawl. This is the Spindrift shawl by Helen Stewart, and this is the pumpkin pasty colorway from Knox Yarn Co. on her Minerva base. She is now back to dyeing and stuff, so I don't know how frequently she's doing updates or anything like that, but this was her pumpkin pasty colorway. It was Harry Potter themed. I don't know if she'll be putting this back. I kind of got it like right before she had her baby and went on maternity leave, so I don't know if she's going to bring this colorway back or not, but I wanted something kind of light, and her Minerva base is 50% silk, 50% merino, so it's really soft and like super drapey, and this is really cute. And I did have enough yarn to do the picot bind off. Mine just doesn't look very dramatic, even though it's exactly how it calls for in the pattern, but I'd never pinned out a picot bind off before, so that was interesting. And I also, when I pinned it out, it ended up like getting pinned out really crooked, so it's like one side's pulled down a little, looks a little bit bigger than the other, even though it's all the same, but that's fine. And then next up we have the Bennett Sisters shawl by Lindsay Fowler, and this is in the Woolberry Fiber Co.'s Elizabeth kit for this particular pattern, which is her berry sock. Yes, her berry sock in Chasing Clouds, and then that same yarn held with one strand of silk mohair in the Persian rug colorway. This is so warm and cozy, and I wear this so much. This got so much wear when I casted it off last year and stuff. This is like my go-to layering under my coat anytime I took the dogs out or we went out anywhere. Like, you could wear it with like just about anything. Like, it looks cute with leggings and looking kind of very athleisure and casual to, you know, like it looks really cute when you're trying to like dress up a little bit more too. And it being blue works very well in my wardrobe. And then last but not least, it's too hot here for me to put it on, so I'm not going to wear it, is my Weekender, which is significantly bigger than it should have been, but that's fine. This is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and I did use Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in the Snowbound colorway. The reason why this bad boy is way bigger than it should be is because I had about 12 additional stitches on the back. So if you look, my little slip stitch detail here is very off center by about an inch, maybe a little bit more than an inch, and that's because there's about 12 additional stitches. So when I was counting to where I needed to put this slip stitch in when I put the split hems together, I did not realize it until I was probably like right up here. It's probably like when I started doing the shaping and stuff up here to do the shoulders and everything. And I was like, I'm not ripping all of this knitting back. So I didn't. And so it's really big. It's very oversized. It still gets worn. However, I probably don't wear it out and about as much because it's pretty clearly off center in the back. But it still gets worn. It's probably kind of my wing it nature when it comes to my knitting, that I didn't notice and didn't count. I'm pretty sure I counted one side to make sure that I had the right number of stitches, and then I didn't feel like doing it on the back, so oh well, it is what it is. So that concludes my finished objects. And so I'm going to take a little break, gather up all of my whips, and I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, I completely forgot to talk about this in my finished objects. Last but not least, my Habitation throw by Helen Stewart. This is from her Knit Vent 2019, if I'm not mistaken. And this is out of Dragon Horde Yarn and Yarn Cafe Creations Christmas at Hogwarts Year 3 advent calendar. So that one's done. Sorry, I feel like that was really short, but I'm ready to get into my works in progress. So this kind of just lives on the back of my chair in my office. So, but to start off, I'll start off with my half finished objects. So first up, we have the Midnight Dancer socks by Sari Nordlund. This is like a really cute, simple sock with this gorgeous ruffle cuff. I love these so much. They bring me so much joy. And it's got a short row heel, which I've never done before. And so that was really fun. It's not perfect. At least it doesn't look as tidy as I would like it to be. But it was my first time doing it. Stelly, what are you doing? Puppy trying to move around in my office. These are super cute. I love these. And this is out of my hand-dyed yarn. Since I don't think I've said that yet. I am dyeing yarn. I do have an Etsy shop. This is one of my colorways. This is Leaf Peepers. And this is on my silk sock base, which is lovely. It is 80% merino, 20% silk. So you're just kind of replacing the nylon content. And this is like a high twist. So I really enjoyed working with this. And I also just really love this colorway. This is kind of like my first time dyeing this colorway. So it's not perfect. It's not as speckly as it is now. But it still looks really good. So I love these. And I just haven't casted on its partner yet. I'm probably going to have some major second sock syndrome where I'm going to have a hard time like getting to casting on the second one. But I'm trying to finish up some current planned projects before like I cast on second socks. I more wanted to knit this up so I could see how this particular colorway knitted up. And so I could show you guys how this looks all knitted up. So, but I love these. I want to have the second one done before Halloween so I could wear these on Halloween because I think these would be really cute. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But like I said, I have not casted on the second one, so I don't have a second one to show. But next up, I've got a bunch of my hand-dyed yarn like in here that I am making socks out of. But next up is my Kindling Sock. This is another pattern by Lindsay Fowler. And they're just these really cute ribbed sock with some pearl detailing with a garter heel flap, which I've never done before, which looks gorgeous. I actually really like the garter heel flap, so I might do that some more in some other socks, like in some vanilla socks. But this is in my Autumn Bonfire colorway. which is, it doesn't photograph great because this colorway like glows in person, which is really cool. But speckly, variegated, delicious, looks like an autumn bonfire. It's like very reddish orange, which I'm trying to, again, since I'm backlit, it doesn't help, but that right there is like fairly accurate in colorway. So yeah, I love these. These are probably going to be like a personal favorite pair of socks just because I love this color and they just feel really cozy. And this is in my BFL sock, which is, it's a BFL high twist, 80% Blueface Leicester, 20% nylon. This is super wash, but should be a very hardworking kind of sock. So, but it has like that kind of like toothy feeling to it that BFL has, which I just love. I really like BFL socks. They're so comfortable. But really, really like this. I like this little kind of garter detailing happening on the leg. So that's where I'm at with this one. This has been kind of my travel knitting, so to say. I've had to spend a lot of time at the dealership recently getting cars serviced and also at doctor's offices. So it's been nice to have something really easy to knit on. And I'm also, I think I'm just now past doing the gusset decreases, so I should be smooth sailing from here on out, which I just love this. These two socks are living in my By the Bay Bag Co. tote, kind of bucket bag, which is really great because I've also got, this is my Spice Pumpkin colorway, which I've not casted anything on with it yet, but that's going to be the next sock I cast on out of stuff that I've dyed. So it's just living in here waiting for me to get this first sock off the needle. And then next, I just casted this on last night because I was like, I really want DK weight socks. I have never knit DK weight socks before, and Kay, the crazy sock lady, came out with her vanilla DK weight sock pattern. So I just decided to cast it on. This is Woolberry Fiber Co.'s Tweed DK in Falling Leaves. This is some yarn that Brandon got me for my birthday, I think in 2019, so I've had it sitting in my stash for a while. I always had the intent of making socks out of this and probably a hat. So I just finally cast it on a pair of socks, and these are knitting up really fast. I've maybe spent like 30 minutes on these, but so super satisfying, and I think these will be really, really cozy because this yarn is really soft. And they'll just be really nice because look at all those nips. Just gorgeous. And I'm doing, this is like the medium size. I figured that would be the closest in fit for my foot. But who knows, we'll see. My gauge might be off. I did not gauge swatch for this, I just casted it on. So I've got this in a field bag right now. And then the final sock that I'm showing y'all is sorry, trying to make sure I didn't lose anything. Are these sweet babies? Let's see, is it gonna... If you can't tell, I really like Woolberry Fiber Co. yarn. And this is Woolberry Fiber Co. in the macaroon colorway. Oh, hi. Hello. Oh, we have a puppy joining us. Hi. Hi, Stewie. Little princess. And then this is the Primrose sock by This Handmade Life. and it's just a really cute little simple eyelet pattern. Kind of hard to showcase while it's on 9-inch circulars, but I really like these. This is again in my endeavor to have spring socks, but this is on the berry cashmere base, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, macaron on her berry cashmere. So just really sweet pink with these like kind of hot pink speckles and stuff. I put this down, I casted this on at the same time I casted on my Wildflowers and Honeycomb socks, but I put these down because I was going to do a short row heel, but I was not prepared mentally to learn how to do that, so I just put them down until I felt like I wanted to do that. And so they've just been kind of hibernating for past couple weeks, probably like 2 months, something like that. But oh well, they'll get picked up eventually. I'm gonna probably endeavor to do some whip busting here coming up in the future, so that way then I don't end up having a bunch of whips going into the new year. Because this year, at the very beginning of this year, I powered through all of my projects that had been sitting on the needles, and I kind of put a little restriction on myself to not cast on more things until I got a handful of them off the needles. That's how I got, you know, the mittens done and my sweater done and things like that, was because I didn't want to have a bunch of languishing whips that I'd had. So I'll probably do something again kind of like that, at least with my smaller projects, to kind of make sure that I just don't have stuff sitting around for forever and not being picked up. But yeah, so those will get picked up eventually, and I'll put a heel in that baby because I'm right where I want to be to put the heel in, and that's what's been holding me up. I now know how to do a short row heel, so moving forward it should be pretty fast. Next up is my mallow flower wrap scarf. Not sure what you want to exactly call it, but this is by, oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher her name, I know it, Tyne Swedish. I'm so sorry if I am pronouncing that wrong. She is the cleverest stitch on Instagram. This is just a beautiful twisted rib kind of wrap scarf with, there's going to be some playing around with color, which I will show you what my next couple of colors are going to be. So this first colorway is Birch by Cozy Posy yarn on her singles base. I don't know if she has a specific name for it. Oh, on her cloud base, which is her merino singles. But this is the colorway Birch. And it's just like this beautiful cream with gray variegation and a ton of speckles. Love this. I've had, oh, go still. Goodness. I've had this in my stash for a while with the intent of making like a big scarf or a wrap out of these particular colors. So the next colorway, so this is kind of like a big faded project. The construction is kind of like you knit half the skein of yarn in the one solid color, and then you fade until you finished this first color with your second color, and then you fade in this immediately after, so the second color is faded the whole middle section of the wrap, and then you knit the last 50 grams of this solid. So these are my three colors. They're all Cozy Posy Cloud singles. The second color is, I believe, Brick and Mortar. Yes. So this here is Brick and Mortar, which is much more of a gray base with a lot of reds and pinks and the same kind of like brown and golden speckles. And then the last one is going to be a Firelight. Yeah, this is Firelight, which has a darker gray base with more of those like burgundy reds, same kind of like grays and golds and brown speckles kind of throughout that all of these skeins kind of have. But ooh, lighting changed a lot, so sorry. These are a lot more gray in person. Apologies about the lighting, it looks like it's getting kind of cloudy outside. But these are really soft, and there's a fourth colorway that you can that you're supposed to use as like a I-cord finishing edge that goes around the whole wrap. I have a color currently picked out, but I'm not 100% sold on it, so I will have to kind of address that once I get there. I might, because I have 2 skeins of all 3 of these colors, I could go and wind up my second skein of Firelight and then also use that as edging for the whole wrap. But we'll see. We'll see where I'm at when I get there. I still have a long way to go. I kind of like knit this whole chunk relatively fast and then started on other projects, namely my next one, which I'll show you. It's another bigger project, but this should be really nice. I think this will be a great addition because it's like fairly neutral with a lot of reds, and red's my favorite color, and I kind of want more red in my wardrobe than I currently have, so I figured that's probably a good way to start adding some of it in, other than a handful of like, have like a red sweater that I've knit and a couple of like red crappy t-shirts, but that's it. I don't have a bunch of red, so trying to figure out ways I can implement that a little bit more into my wardrobe, seeing as it is my favorite color, so you'd think I'd have a lot more. But next up is a sweater. This is my Midcoast Sweater. This is a pattern by Jennifer Steingass, and it is a gorgeous colorwork sweater, and I was very much inspired by her sample that she knit in her like photos for the pattern. So I decided to order me some Brooklyn tweed. Focus. So I decided during the pandemic, like right at the start of the pandemic, I decided that I was going to place an order with Brooklyn tweed, and I ordered, oh gosh, come on still. She cannot decide where she wants to be. Okay, so I decided I wanted to knit another sweater out of Brooklyn tweed. This is Brooklyn tweed Loft in the cast iron colorway as the main background color, and then Wood Smoke, which is much more of like a soft brown beige color, but tends to kind of read a bit more gray, so it's kind of like a beigey gray, and then the Embers colorway. And I just have a little bit more, I think it's about 16 rows left in the color work of the yoke, and then I'm on to body and sleeve island for a while. My plan with this is, because I do kind of lose momentum when working on the sleeves after finishing the body, is I'm going to do the sleeves first. Plus, at the end of the sleeves, there's a little bit more color work. So, figured might as well do sleeves first, get that color work done, and then the body is just straight stockinette, and then I think a little bit of ribbing at the bottom. I haven't looked that far, but I'm pretty sure that's how it is. But I love this, and it's not subtle Halloween, but I feel like these colors at the same time, you could get a lot more wear out of it than just during kind of like October. I'm at least going to wear it a fair bit because it feels more neutral than like Halloween, but I want to be able to wear it around Halloween. So we're gonna try and get this done pretty fast. We shall see. I am slow. This is fingering weight, and I have never done a straight up fingering weight sweater before. This color work does take me a while. I'm not very fast. I am doing, I think, the large size. I'll have to double check on that. But so this is not a tiny sweater. As you can tell, it's bunched up on my cable a fair bit. But I love it. I absolutely love this. This brings a lot of joy, and I love the colors, and I love working with this yarn. Everything just feels fabulous. So that is it for my works in progress. This is probably what's been getting the most knitting out of everything that I have right now, other than my Kindling socks, just because those are very travel friendly. So I figured we would kind of round out this episode with a quick little kind of like dream knitting, future knit plans kind of segment. I don't think I've done one of these in a really long time. Well, I haven't podcasted in a really long time, so it doesn't really matter. But I figured one of the things I would talk about is just kind of what's currently on my radar, slash like what colors am I like looking forward to like kind of knitting with in this coming autumnal season. Like if all of my knitting plans can go the way that I envision them, and I can knit as fast as I hope I can, and I can get to all of these projects and everything, and kind of this be like the emphasis of like what I work on during the fall, I'd be very happy. So first up, I guess I'll talk, because I want DK weight socks. I haven't even finished my first pair, and I'm already planning 2 more pairs. I have the Enchanted Forest colorway, which is another of Woolberry Fiber Co.'s collective colorways, which is like this gorgeous green. She is a magician. Her and her husband are magicians. I don't know how they do it. So I really want a pair of DK weight socks out of this. And I have another skein, so I could also make a hat out of it. And maybe some regular socks, because I bought a lot of that color. And then when she did her Lord of the Rings like pre-order for her club from last year, I bought Durin's Bane, which is like the exact shade of my friend's hair. She is a bright ginger, and this is like her hair color. But gorgeous. I love it. And again, I want socks out of this. So these are her, this one is Berry Cashmere DK, and then this one is just her Berry DK. So this one is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. And then this one is 100% superwash merino. So those are my plans for DK weight socks. And then for fingering weight socks, I've already talked about my Spice Pumpkin color. Love it. It is very speckly. It'll be coming back in the shop on September 22nd. That is my birthday, and I will be having a whole equinox collection coming out then at that time too. But this is a part of that. So I will be casting on a sock out of that, as I've already discussed. Next up is kind of just some more general kind of like fall socks that I would love to have. That, I mean, some of it's already been skeined up and has been skeined up for a while, and I just haven't gotten to them. They've been additions to my stash for a long time, and I want socks out of them, and I haven't casted them on. So I figured I would pull these colorways out and have them in my line of sight, to where when I come to a stage of like being like, okay, let's cast on a new sock, this is like the first stuff I see. So first up, this is Explorer Knits National Park collection. This is the Smoky Mountains colorway. We live really close to the Smoky Mountains. I want Smoky Mountain socks. I have a sweater's quantity of this yarn to make a Smoky Mountain sweater. Have I cast it on? No. Has it been in my stash for over a year to 2 years? Yes. So I have this. It is gorgeous. Absolutely lovely. I want socks out of this. I think this will be a great fall sock to cast on once I find the perfect pattern. And next up is, I want Halloween socks, obviously, to add to my Halloween sock collection. This is yarn from the Woolly Mammoth, Emma in Ireland. She does natural dyeing, if I'm correct. And this is the Trick or Treat colorway. This is from a while ago. So I've had this in stash for a while. I've had it skeined up for a while. I have done the lighter version of this particular color. The lighter version is All Treats, No Tricks. And then this one is Trick or Treat. And then I've had this orange skeined up because I used this with my original All Treats, No Tricks pair of socks. And then this is the Her Spiced Pumpkin colorway, which is just a really rich orange and is really nice, and I'll use these as like cuffs and toes and maybe heels. But so those will be going together in a pair of socks. And then I have some more from this Halloween collection from like 2 years ago that I will continue to use this Spiced Pumpkin color as like a contrast for heels and toes and things like that. And then let me put my labels back in my yarn so I don't forget what's what. Next up, this just came in the mail. So I have not had this very long. This has not even been skeined up. But boy, as soon as I opened it, I was like, I need socks out of this. This is the Thorin Oakenshield colorway. This is her 6th colorway to come out of her Hobbit Club from this year. And it is beigey gray and brown and speckly and gorgeous. And I'm obsessed. I immediately took a picture of this yarn and sent it to my sister and was like, I'm dying. I can't. I need something out of this really soon. So I decided I would add this to my pile of knitting for the fall. And then next up is knitting that will happen as soon as I finish my Midcoast sweater. So when I was looking at the Midcoast sweater, I also fell in love with the Garden Gate sweater by Jennifer Steingass. And I decided when I ordered yarn for the Midcoast, I would order yarn to do a Garden Gate. So this is sweatshirt. I believe this is Thistle. That, or it is, yes. This is Thistle. I think they've retired this colorway. And then I also have Hayloft, but I am on the fence as to whether or not I like this as much as a color combination. The Garden Gate is a 2-color work sweater, but you can do 3 colors. I mean, you can throw in another color if that's what you want anyways. I don't have my swatch in here, but I did do a tiny swatch, and these 2 tones, the Hayloft and the sweatshirt, are like a little too close in undertone. And so there's just not a lot of contrast between the 2 in my swatch. Now I did swatch a really tiny swatch, which is actually over there. Let me grab it. Literally like only 3 feet away. Still, you gotta move your nose. So I just did a really tiny swatch. So it just kind of like, just disappeared in there a little bit, the Hayloft. At least to my eye, but I still really like the idea of like gray with this kind of gold color and then having the purple. So I don't know, but it's also, you get a lot of contrast between the purple and the gray, so I could theoretically just do it out of these two colors and it'd be gorgeous. So I don't know, but again, I'm not casting this on until I finish my Midcoast, but that is have all the yarn together. I have done a swatch. I have my initial stuff caked up so I can start it whenever I get to that point. So that is Dream Sweater Knitting number 1. Dream Sweater Knitting number 2 is out of yarn I have dyed. These are all, except for one, colorways that are in the shop right now. One of them this is what I'm calling medium roast. I'm just not as happy with how this color turned out, so I don't have it in the shop right now, but I do have all the other colors. So the main color is Tobacco Leaf. Very beautiful golden brown with speckles. I love this color. It's beautiful. I want a whole sweater out of this, hence the reason why it's the main color. Next, I have Espresso Roast, or I think it's just espresso on the website. So this is my espresso colorway, a nice rich dark brown. And then medium roast, which is not on the shop, but will eventually once I figure out exactly how I like it. And then last but not least, cream, or crema. So these are the 3 colors. I want a brown sweater really bad. I say 3. These are the 4 colors. I want a brown sweater really bad. I have no idea what pattern I want to use, hence the reason why this has not been casted on, or else it would have been casted on already, because I want a brown sweater. I wanted it yesterday. So if y'all have any suggestions on a 4-color colorwork sweater, leave a comment below. Help me out, because I have been thoroughly perusing Ravelry and I haven't landed on one that I particularly like yet. There's a ton I love, but I haven't landed on one that I like for this. So just be so cozy. I'm really liking brown right now. Who'd have thunk? I thought forever I was going to be a gray girl, but here we are. But yeah, that's kind of it for dream knitting slash future knits that will eventually be happening. So yeah, but thank y'all for sticking around. Like I said earlier, I will have my Etsy shop link below, but we are going to be having an update here in the coming weeks on September 22nd at 8 a.m. I will probably be doing another video to showcase the whole collection together. If everything dyed up, it will be dyed to order, just because that makes more sense since I have not had my Etsy shop open for very long. To do an in-stock update would require a lot of financial backing on my end right up front, with no guarantee that stuff's gonna be bought. But I will be doing a video as we get closer to when the collection will be online, and I will show y'all all the colors. So, but thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoy. I am planning on being more frequent with this, clearly. I do have another video planned here. So, you know, hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying this. And yeah, thanks. Hope y'all have a wonderful day.